Greetings Earthlings and welcome back to Podcastage. Today I am reviewing a $13 lavalier microphone, the Movo LV-1-USB. I did buy this with my own dollary dues. Like always, I'll throw some links in the description down below. All of my recording settings will be listed in the description as well as the doobly-doo. And now let's talk about what comes in the box. Saved it. First, you get this pleather drawstring storage bag. You'll of course get the microphone, which has a battery pack and a 20-foot cable. You get a battery for the battery pack, a foam windscreen, a microphone clip, a 3.5mm to 1/4-inch adapter, a USB-A sound card, a little bit of documentation, and a sticker. Then as far as the build quality, the microphone really doesn't feel that great. It has an all-plastic body and head. You have a rubber cable that runs for about 4 feet until you get to this massive battery pack. The battery pack is made out of metal. You unscrew this, and this is how you install the LR44 battery. On this little module, you have the on-off switch, depending on what you're connecting the microphone to. Then after this, you have 16 more feet of cable. Yes, that's right, 16 more feet. It terminates into a 3.5mm TRRS plug, and if you care, you shouldn't be surprised, it is made in China. There really aren't too many specifications available for this microphone or this kit, but I will have what I could find up on screen here, and I will also have it listed in the description in case you want to read a little bit more. Now I am spinning around the LV-1 so you can hear what kind of coloration you can expect around the sides of it. I will speak directly into the top of it. I will now move around to the rear of the microphone, and that should be enough. That's how it sounds around the mic. Now I have the microphone clipped exactly where I would wear it, and let's see if it rejects or picks up any kind of plosives as my AC turns on. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Please bring pizza pronto. Nothing. Now I'm about 3 inches off of the microphone, and this is what I would classify as the TikTok Lav Mic Position. That is how it sounds. There you go. Now I have the microphone clipped to my collar, which is a very common position that I see for lav microphones. This does have what I've heard called as a chin shadow, so it sounds a bit darker because there's no direct line of sight to your mouth. And here's how it sounds in this position. Now I have the microphone about 7 or 8 inches away from my mouth, clipped directly between my man nips. This is my personal favorite position for a lav mic because it's still relatively close to the sound source, aka my mouth, and it also seems to avoid the majority of the chin shadow, so you start to get a bit more of the detail and a bit more of the top end as opposed to clipping it to your collar. Now I am clickety-clacking on a keyboard with Gatoron blue switches, and here's how it sounds. And for the gaming folk, now I am typing on the SAD W and spacebar keys. Now here is how the microphone sounds about 7 or 8 inches away from my mouth in a relatively well-treated room. And now here is how the microphone sounds in the exact same position but in a completely untreated room. Now I want to include a sample so you can hear if the provided foam windscreen has any impact on the sound of the recording. So right now the mic is about 7 or 8 inches away from my mouth. The windscreen is not installed, and here is how it's sounding. And now I've installed the provided foam windscreen, and here's how it sounds. Do you hear any kind of difference? And here is another sample of the microphone in the nude, in the buff. It does not have the foam windscreen installed. This is just raw dogging it. And again, here is a second sample with the microphone with the provided foam windscreen installed, and that should be enough data for you to hear if there is any kind of difference. Now, in order to hear how this microphone may improve my daily video quality, here is how the audio from the internal microphones in the Canon 90D sound when the camera is set up to get a decent shot, and that puts it about 3.5 feet away from my mouth. And now I have switched over to the Movo LV-1, which is connected directly to the microphone input on the Canon 90D. My level or my gain is set at about 50%, and here is how it sounds. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Here is another example of where a lav mic might improve the audio for your videos. So right now I have a camera that's about 6 feet away from me. I have an air conditioning unit on and I am just using the onboard microphones. Chances are this sounds absolutely terrible. And now I have the lav mic clipped to my sweater directly between my moobs. The mic is running directly into the Canon 90D's microphone input, which isn't a particularly good sounding or low noise preamp, but this should yield a significantly better sound in terms of background noise, in terms of reverb rejection, and in terms of offering a more direct and easy to understand sound. So this is another situation where I think a lav mic like this could improve the sound of your videos. Now I have the LV-1 connected directly to one of those older Zoom H1s. My input level is set at 50%. The mode is set to camera. I am recording 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz in wave, I believe, and here is how it sounds in this configuration. Now I'm recording the LV-1 to my iPhone X using a Lightning to 3.5mm adapter. I am recording this into the Rode Reporter app. Sorry, Rode. My gain or my level is set all the way down, and here is how it's sounding in this configuration. Now I've connected the LV-1 directly to the TRRS input on my MacBook Pro. My input level is set at about 40-ish%, and this is the audio you can expect in this kind of setup. Now I have the LV-1 connected directly to the Rode AI Micro, which is their tiny little 3.5mm audio interface. The mode is set to camera. My input level is set to 100%. And here is how it sounds when you're running it through a, I guess, higher end 3.5mm audio interface. There you go. Now, just because I was curious how it would sound, I have the microphone set to camera mode, so it's powered off of the internal battery, and then I am running it through the provided 3.5mm to 1/4-inch adapter, and running that into the Focusrite 18i20 2nd Gen, and my gain is cranked to 100%, recording 24-bit 48 kilohertz. This is just silly. But in case you were curious how a $12 microphone sounds running through a $150 interface preamp, there you go. Because I was curious about it, and now we both know. Win-win. Guess what? Like I always do, I'm going to do a quick spoken word comparison between the microphone we're reviewing and a handful of other options that are available so we can hear how it stacks up against the competition and hear the microphone outside of a vacuum. Starting on the Movo LV-1, this is clipped directly to my sweatshirt about 6 to 7 inches away from my mouth. It is running through the Rode AI Micro. My level is set at 100%, and here's how it sounds. First up in the comparison, we have the Sony ECM CS3. I believe this is discontinued, but it went for about 15 to 20 bucks. My level is still set at 100% on the AI Micro. It is in a very similar position right between my moobs. And there you go. That is the Sony, an affordable stereo lavalier mic. Back on the Movo LV-1, the mode is set to smartphone or off. I am connecting this to my iPhone X using a Lightning to 3.5mm adapter, recording in the Rode Reporter app with my gain set all the way down, and here's how it sounds. Let's hear the next mic. And now I'm recording using the inline microphone in a set of Lightning adapter Apple earbuds, recording directly into the Rode Reporter app, and here's how it compares to the LV-1. Back again on the Movo LV-1, here's how it sounds. That is enough of a palate cleanser. Let's go to another mic. Now I am on a Deity lav mic. I don't know what the model number is, but this is what comes with their pocket wireless setup. It is in the same position. It is still running into their Rode AI Micro. My input level is still set at 100%. Check the lower third. And let's hear some more lav mic comparisons. We are back on the Movo LV-1. Nothing has changed. Here's another sample of it. Let's hear another lavalier microphone. Now I have the Rode Lavalier Go in a very similar position clipped directly to my hoodie. This is also connected to the Rode AI Micro. My level or gain is still set at 100%. And here is how it sounds. A Rode Lav mic against a $13 lavalier microphone. Hey, we're back on the Movo. Big surprise, this is a palate cleanser. Let it clear out your ear canals, and let us go to another microphone now. Now I have the Shure MVL clipped in a very similar position on my hoodie, still running into the Rode AI Micro, level still set at 100%. Big surprise. Check the lower third, and here's how it sounds. Let us go back to the Movo and do some more comparisons. We have 2 more microphones to go, so this is your penultimate palate cleanser. Get a good feel for the Movo. I'm sure you're used to it by now. Let's go to the second to last microphone. Now I have the Shure TL47 running into Shure's TA4F to XLR preamp adapter. That is connected to the 18i20, 48 volts on, gain is set at 3 o'clock, 24-bit, 48 kilohertz, and here is how it sounds compared to the Movo. It's not 100 times more, 8 times more expensive? It's a crazy price differential. Let's do one more comparison. And we have one final microphone to go, so here is how the Movo LV-1 sounds. Nothing has changed. Palate cleanser. Let's go to the final microphone. And finally, I am on the Neumann. Hello, Neumann U87 Ai. Cardioid polar pattern, no pad, no filters, about 6 inches off of this thing. Gain on the 18i20 is set at about 11 o'clock. This is hands down the most useful test and comparison in this video. It is not a control. This is meant to be serious. We don't have a music test, so let's just go to the conclusion now. Somebody's going to be so mad about this. You can't compare a lav mic to a U87! Are you stupid? Yes, but that's beside the point. For $13, the fact that this thing functions at all is pretty much a miracle, and that's about all I can say about it. And first up, as far as pros, is the price of this thing at $13 for the microphone with the battery, with the 20-foot cable, and the USB sound card. It is crazy how they can make any kind of profit. So as the end consumer, $13, don't mind if I do. I also found that this microphone was compatible with every single thing that I tried it on. That's due to the TRRS plug, but also the internal battery with that switch to go between camera or smartphone. And I think that is a great feature because if you get this, it's going to work on the majority of the stuff that you have. But then we get to the cons, and the first one for me is the build quality. It doesn't instill confidence, and I suppose I shouldn't be expecting much for $13, but when I'm recording something, I want to have some peace of mind that it's not going to fall apart or fail on me mid-recording. Secondly, the microphone has a very low sensitivity, meaning the recordings come across on the quiet side, or you're going to have to crank your gain to 100%. That's going to lead to very hissy sounding recordings. And on top of that, you're going to have the self noise of this thing adding to the hiss, because in those comparisons, I found the hiss from this microphone to be a bit higher than the competition. And the final con for me is this microphone isn't very reliable. In the intro of this video, there was a really loud pop. I don't know what caused it, but I had to attenuate that by 20 decibels. And when I used this microphone to record a walkthrough video, the cable was moving around a bit, and it captured a lot of hissing and crackling and popping. It just did not yield a good sounding or low noise recording. And now, what are my overall thoughts and opinions of the Movo LV-1? As far as the overall sound, I would classify it as extremely overpowering in the bass and low midsection, a congested midsection, and then a bit of an unclear top end. Also, I want to point out in the comparison section, this microphone seemed to pick up quite a bit more of the reflections and reverb compared to the Rode and the Shure offerings, and that's something that's really going to come into play if you're using your lav mic indoors or near any kind of hard surfaces that will reflect sound back to it. And to wrap up, would I recommend the Movo LV-1? Kind of. If you're going to be sitting at a desk, if you're going to be sitting in front of a computer monitor, if you're going to be recording near any kind of reflective surfaces, I don't think that I can, because this microphone seems to pick up all of those reflections, and it's not just because it's an Omni microphone. The other Omni lav mics seem to do a better job at rejecting those sounds and getting a more direct signal. So if you're sitting at a desk or in front of a monitor, I would say get some kind of small diaphragm condenser, which I just switched to. I have a $30 Behringer C2. This is maybe a foot away from my mouth, probably a bit too roomy, but still. This is going to offer a much better sound in my opinion, especially if you can get the microphone further away from the reflective surfaces. The second group of people that I can't recommend this for is if you're looking for affordable gear for mission critical recording, where you can't have botched audio, where you may not have another opportunity to go back and re-record it, where pops, cracks, and loud white noise is not going to be acceptable. I can't recommend it because this microphone suffers from all of that. Pops, cricks, hassles, hisses, all the words. It picks that up. It's not reliable. I would not recommend it for that. But if you're somebody who is just looking for a super budget entry-level lavalier microphone to play around with, get some lav micing techniques under your belt, try some different positions right between your man boobs, on your collar, maybe on your hat, maybe you want to try a hairline microphone, or you want to see if a lav mic would work in your setup, then absolutely I would recommend it. Just keep in mind what you are getting. You are getting an extremely affordable microphone, an extremely affordable lav mic that is not reliable. I know it is not the same company, but I bought another $10, $15 lav mic. I got 1 day of recording out of it, and it failed. I used lav mics when I was covering comic book conventions, and I interviewed Tony Todd. The cable failed. I lost that. Had I been using a higher end lav mic, that would not have happened. So just keep that in mind when you're buying this, when you're looking at this. If you need something reliable, I would say this is not it. But if you want something fun and affordable to try out, that's what it is. All right, that is it for this video. If you found that fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, hated it, big old thumbs down. Thank you to these people. They support the channel at $5 or more and make the production of these videos possible. So thank you to them, and thank you to you for coming by and watching and listening. You are incredible. I love you. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Whoa, whoa, boop.